Right, we're now going to renew our promise in a moment. So hopefully you're all in uniform. We've had a few interesting questions come in. So it looks like I've got a quiz. Somebody's asked, when did scouting in Durham begin? Well, the answer to that is about 1908 in Sunderland. It's a really good story. However, we're going to renew our promise in just a second. But before that, I want to share with you a special message that we've received today. And that came from Her Majesty's Lord Lieutenant for County Durham, Sue Snowden. The Lord Lieutenant represents Her Majesty the Queen here in the county. And we received this letter this morning. I'm going to read part of it out because it's too small on the screen there for you. And Sue writes, I'm so pleased that County Durham Scouts are taking part in Hike to the Moon. St George's Day is a very special day in Scouting, so it's wonderful that you have chosen to mark it with Hike to the Moon and an online celebration when you will renew your Scout promise. I also know that on that same day, BBC Children in Need and Comic Relief are joining forces in a massive fundraising special to celebrate the incredible people who are making such a difference in communities across the UK and to support people who need it most during this difficult time. And I'm delighted that Scouts are actively contributing to this appeal. She continues, now more than ever, we need to be resilient. Young and old, we all need that resilient, never give up spirit. Hike to the Moon is a wonderful initiative which will connect all involved in Scouting. You really are going that extra mile, and I'm confident that we'll cover the 240,000 mile journey to the moon. So wear your uniform with pride and have fun. I wish you and your families all the very best. Stay safe and healthy. So thanks to the Lord Lieutenant for those best wishes. Right, we're going to ask you now what you are doing. We're going to renew our promise and look at our values in a moment, but we're going to ask you, what are you doing to live up to your Scout promise and to live by your Scout values? So lots of you have already figured out the question and answer box. Where it says your name, tell us who you are. There might be more than one of you there. And where it says, ask a question, tell us what you've been doing to help people in this really unusual time that we find ourselves in. Ruth will broadcast and share as many of those as possible. We'll keep her nice and busy. So for instance, are you being nice and kind to your brothers and sisters? Are you helping with chores around the house? You've been distributing posters to your neighbours. What are you doing to be kind? So let's think about our Scout values. As Scouts, we're guided by 5 values. We act with integrity. We are honest, trustworthy and loyal. We have respect for ourselves and respect for others. We support and care for others, and we take care of the world in which we live. We explore our faiths, beliefs and attitudes, and we make a positive difference by cooperating with other people and making friends. So those are the values we all change. How are you showing that every day? Now I'm going to ask all Beaver Scouts, Beaver Scout leaders and mums and dads of Beaver Scouts, if you want to stand up as well, please make the Scout sign, which is your right hand, hold down your little finger with your thumb, put your 3 fingers in the air, and what we'll do, I'll read out the promises and you can join in with whatever form of words you wish. So on the left of the screen we can see the version of the promise which is more traditional, but on the right we have various versions of the promise for those of different faiths or for those of no faith at all. So hopefully all across Durham, all of our beavers and leaders are standing making the Scout sign, and please say with me, I promise to do my best, to be kind and helpful and to love God. So thanks Beaver Scouts. There's no prizes for guessing who comes next, but before we do that, we're just going to look at the Cub Scout Law. Cub Scouts always do their best, think of others before themselves and do a good turn every day. So that's what we're thinking about when we promise to follow the Cub Scout Law. And again, if we can ask all of our Cub Scouts and Cub Scout leaders, moms and dads who are there, please stand up and make the Scout sign. Again, thumb and finger, 3 fingers in the air. And you can see here the Cub Scouts promise. Again, if you prefer to use a different version of the promise, please use a version of the words on the right of the screen. So the Cub Scout promise is, I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and to the Queen, to help other people and to keep the Cub Scout law. Thank you, Cub Scouts. So we now come on to, I guess, everybody else. This is the Scout law. I'm not going to read all of them out. If you're old enough to make the Scout promise, you're old enough to be able to read and understand the Scout law. But a number of things in the Scout law which are very pertinent at this challenging time for all of us. Having courage in difficulties, being friendly and considerate, trusted and loyal, having self-respect, respect for others, and perhaps most importantly, making good use of our time. So if we can ask all those who are Scouts, Explorer Scouts or adult members, that includes Scout Network of course, please stand and make the Scout sign, and we'll bring that up for you here. Again, different versions of the promise on the right hand side of the screen. On my honour, I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and to the Queen, to help other people and to keep Scout law. Thank you everybody. If you'd all sit down, if you were standing, that's great. That was something I never thought we would do, renew our Scout promises online. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening. To close this evening, we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening about scouting from home. That's really important at the moment, and what we're trying to do is make sure that all of our young people and their families have interesting things to do while we're all at home, and we're also hopefully helping you feel that you are part of something bigger than just your family, more than just your Beaver colony or Cub Scouts or whatever. You are genuinely part of this worldwide family of scouting. So we hope that you're taking part in scouting from home. We're organising a number of things from the Scout County you can join in with. We had a really good response at the beginning of April to the Jamboree on the Internet Special Edition. A number of you shared your stories about getting in touch with Scouts around the world. Literally, we had a competition and some of you spoke to dozens and dozens of Scouts around the world. But coming up, I guess now, this is what was mentioned in the Lord Lieutenant's letter, Hike to the Moon. Hopefully most of you have heard about this. The Scouts are raising funds for children in need and comic relief. It's linked to tonight's Big 19, which started on BBC One, I think about 10 minutes ago. And we're asking all Scouts to hike a mile, not a mic, sorry about that, hike a mile and raise money through donations. Now we need to do that safely. You might be able to do that when you go out and do your exercise for the day. You might be able to do it in your garden. You might be able to do it in your living room or kitchen. A mile is approximately 20 minutes hiking on the spot. Now, although today is the big day where we have the Big 19 on television, and we've seen lots of people raising money, the total has been going up today. We've actually got until the 23rd of May to do this. If you go online and search for Scouts Hike to the Moon, you'll find that on the Scout website, or you can visit the Hike to the Moon page on Just Giving to make a donation. Also going on at the moment, we have our Bug Hotel Challenge. We've seen literally dozens and dozens of our members taking up the challenge to build a bug hotel. And this isn't just Beaver Scouts and Cub Scouts. We're seeing Scouts, Explorer Scouts and adults joining in as well. We've had some fantastic weather the last few weeks. You can go out and collect materials when you go out for your walk. We've got a special Facebook group where you can share photos and videos, and we've got lots of photos of the bug hotels that people have made, and what I'm looking forward to seeing is some videos of some actual bugs. I joined in, I've made a bug hotel, and I'm still waiting for some bugs to join in, so hopefully that won't take too long. For our older members, our Scouts, Explorer Scouts and Network members, we now have an expedition planning challenge which went live just over the weekend. The idea of this is we're challenging individual or ideally groups of Scouts, Explorers and Network members to plan a 2, 3 or 4 day expedition. That's menus, equipment lists, as well as of course the route plans. You fill in a registration form and then your clock starts ticking. We're looking to see who we go out and do our expeditions. I'm delighted to say that other Scout counties in the North East region are joining in with this as well. So that's great. If you go on the county website, look under events, under Expedition Planning Challenge, you can find out how to take part. It doesn't matter whether you haven't got mapping software, we provide maps, and even if you haven't got a compass at home, we provided you a little compass. Sadly, it looks like the broadcast, oh, here we go, we had a bit of an issue there for a moment, but we're back. Right, what else is happening? So in May, we are organising a camp at home. And the idea of camp at home is, as the name suggests, on the 16th and 17th of May, which would have been the weekend of the Dryburn Cup camping competition. We want all of our Beavers, Cubs, Scouts, Explorer members, brothers and sisters, families, aunties and uncles, whoever you live with, to camp in a tent in the garden, sleep in a hammock, build a blanket or a duvet fort at home, spend the night camping. And I'm delighted to say that Scout Association headquarters have agreed that if you do a camp at home, it counts towards your Nights Away badge. We're going to have an online opening and closing ceremony. We're going to have a virtual campfire on the Saturday evening, and we're all going to get together again for breakfast on the Sunday morning, virtually. Obviously, you can't all come to my house for bacon and eggs, and we'll get more details of this out in the next few weeks. So you've been sharing with us what you've been doing to live up to your promise and live by your Scout values. We've been seeing lots coming in, I think, haven't we, Ruth?
Yep. Lots coming in, and I'm not getting through them fast enough.
Right, you're sharing your ideas faster than Ruth can share them on the screen. We will keep those going for a while. And actually, tonight's celebration has been recorded. So we will share them. Thank you so much for sharing those stories. We're getting some really wonderful stories from across the Scout County of everything that people are doing to help family and friends and vulnerable people, which is fantastic. We don't know how long it's going to be until we're scouting face to face again. Obviously that depends upon decisions the government take, but it could be a while. One of the things we do know is that when we resume face-to-face scouting, there will be individuals in our communities, there will be local charities who need help and support. And one of the things that we're looking to do in scouting is not just look to see how we can help at the moment, but we are looking to see what sort of help other organisations, other people will need help with once things start to get back to normal. So at some time over the next months, life will start to get back to normal. It'll probably be a gradual process, and as Scouts who've all renewed our promise, we've promised to help other people, and I really hope that that'll be great. So again, we've got some super ideas coming in from you all. Thank you so much for helping out. So what do we do for the rest of the evening? Well, you can tell your mums and dads that the County Commissioner has given you permission to stay up late and watch a bit of television, watch the big night in, and of course at 8 o'clock we have the national clap for carers, where we say thank you and show our appreciation for all those people who are working so hard at the moment to keep everything working, to keep us all safe. That includes everybody, you know, delivering the post, emptying the dustbins, driving lorries, working in supermarkets, and especially those people, those carers, those working in the health service who are at the front line. They're doing some fantastic work. And I know that across the country today, not just here in Durham, I've seen lots of messages from other Scout counties as well. At 8 o'clock this evening, a lot of our members in Scouting, they're going to carry on wearing the uniform, they're going to go outside, and at 8 o'clock they're going to make as much noise as possible, clap and bang saucepans together to really show our appreciation and to say thank you to everybody who's working so hard during this current emergency to keep us all safe. So I do hope that you'll join in with that. Please go outside with the uniforms on. When I say outside, obviously go to your doorstep with the uniforms on. Show your neighbours how proud you are to be a Beaver Scout, a Cub Scout, Scouts. Ruth and I are here in uniform. Oh, Explorers, sorry. Network, everybody. Ruth and I are in uniform. We're going to go out on the doorstep at 8 o'clock and make some noise. So the technology seemed to work this evening. We didn't have any disasters, I don't think. Hopefully you didn't have any problems at your end. We'll learn some lessons, we always do. So we said it'd be about 30 minutes. It's been a bit longer than that. Thank you for joining us and sticking with us. So for now, we're going to say good night. Most importantly, of course, please stay safe and healthy. As your Scout promise, look after yourselves and other people, and be good Scouts.